Obviously, I think we're all, on board with, I think the longer we can wait to make decisions, the better it is for college coaches, and the better it is for the young men and the families, for them to mature and try to figure out what's best for them. And I think most people would agree it's kind of a broken process right now.
It doesn't make sense for student athletes to be expected to make a decision about where they want to go to school in 8th or 9th and early stages of 10th grade. Maybe sometimes that does make sense, but I think it's led to a lot more transferring. I think is more prevalent, and players decommitting and changing their mind. I feel like we're seeing more and more of that.
I mean, right now, with the way recruiting's going, we spend maybe more time managing and staying in touch and making sure those guys aren't decommitting or getting poached, or it's almost like you got to re-recruit your guys every couple weeks or every couple months.
Yeah, I think we've become more focused than we are currently. Right now we're recruiting 2017s through 2020s, and from freshman to senior year. And I think sometimes we can get away from being focused on a certain player. We can't be as thorough in the recruiting process as we'd like to be.
Specifically in the Ivy League, it'll allow us more time to evaluate students. Not just as athletes, but let them matriculate through their freshman, sophomore, junior year. So.
I look at what I do right now, what coaches do, or many coaches do, is they have their college team. They also manage a high school team. We're managing seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. We got a whole nother team out there waiting to arrive on campus.
So I think having the recruiting proposal pass, potentially, will allow us to just focus on 1 or 2 classes at a time as opposed to 4. And we don't have to feel like we need to be everywhere.
We'll certainly see with maybe stricter deadlines of when you can, contact kids. It'll be probably a pretty hectic couple weeks, at the start of, September, if that's the date that gets passed. So
I do think that September 1st of their junior year is going to be a challenging time. I think we're going to go back to where we were about 10 years ago, where these phone calls on that particular day or throughout the course of those ensuing weeks become very challenging. Very distracting for these young men and women during the academic school year, and it's going to continue to put a lot of pressure on them. I don't think it's going to alleviate all of the pressure that's on them right now. It's just going to push it back a couple of years.
If these early recruiting rules are passed by the NCAA, I would imagine that the influence of club coaches might actually take might even be larger than it is right now.
I like the way things are, but if things were to change and be a little bit later, it would probably be better for the kids, and it would still really benefit the higher end programs that have the luxury of waiting longer to find those really good players that some of these non-traditional schools are getting right now.
I think the challenge there is to make sure everybody does what we're supposed to do, and where's the loophole, because coaches are terrific at finding the loophole.
I think the spirit of the rule is admirable, to just kind of take some pressure off of these young men for having to make, such an important decision at such a young age. I do believe in the spirit of the rule, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know if anybody's thought through the entire dynamic of how it's going to work. We do our best to predict, what may change here or there. But I'm sure there'll be surprises in a variety of different ways.